Tonight, a jury finding Rick Chow not guilty for the 2023 shooting death of 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack-Belton.
It was a Sunday evening in Columbia, South Carolina, May 28, 2023. The sun was going down over Park Lane Road, a normal, quiet neighborhood. People coming and going from the Express Mart Shell gas station. Like any other day, a 14-year-old boy named Cyrus Carmack-Belton walked through that door. He would never walk back home. Before we get into what happened, I want you to understand something about this community. Richland County, South Carolina. Nearly half the population is black. These are people who have seen this story before, who have felt this pain before, who have buried children before. What happened on May 28, 2023 would tear through that community like a wound that refused to heal. Cyrus walked into the Express Mart that evening. The surveillance cameras were rolling. Every angle, every second, recorded. And this is what those cameras showed. Cyrus picked up 4 bottles of water, and then he put them back. Every single one. Back on the shelf. He was then approached by Andy Chow, the store owner's son, and the owner's wife, Alice. They confronted him, accused him of stealing. Cyrus denied it. He shook out his pockets in front of them. Nothing. Empty. He had taken nothing. But that did not matter. What happened next would shock investigators. When they reviewed that footage, Cyrus walked out of the store. He ran. And Rick Chow, 61 years old, grabbed his gun and followed. Not just to the door, not just to the parking lot. Chow and his son chased that boy 130 yards down the street, past their store, past the parking lot, down Spring Tree Drive toward a nearby apartment complex. Multiple witnesses were outside that evening. They watched the teenage boy running for his life. Not one of them saw Cyrus point a weapon at anyone. Not one. Then the shot rang out. One bullet, fired from behind. Cyrus Carmack-Belton was struck in the right lower back. The Richland County coroner later confirmed the gunshot wound was consistent with someone who was running away. He was running away. He was 14 years old, and he was shot in the back. When investigators reviewed everything, the surveillance footage, the witness statements, the physical evidence, Richland County Sheriff Leon Lott stood before cameras and said, "He did not shoplift anything. We have no evidence that he stole anything whatsoever." That store owner did not just shoot a shoplifter. He shot a boy who had done nothing wrong. Sheriff Lott had Rick Chow arrested and charged with murder. He said, "That store did not shoot that 14-year-old. The person responsible has been arrested. He is in jail, exactly where he needs to be." The community believed justice was coming. They were wrong. In the days after the shooting, the community gathered outside the Express Mart. Vigils were held. Protests filled the streets. People were angry. People were grieving. And at one vigil, someone arranged empty water bottles on the ground outside that store, spelling out one word: Cyrus. That image broke people. A child's name, written in the very bottles he was accused of stealing. The bottles he had put back, the bottles that cost his life. Rick Chow sat in jail for 3 years waiting for trial. The defense tried to get the murder charge dismissed. The judge refused. Prosecutors revealed that the sheriff's department had taken the extraordinary step of inviting Chow in before the shooting to discuss the legal limits of his use of force. He had been warned. He knew the law, and he still pulled that trigger. When the trial finally began, the courtroom was packed. 5 days of testimony. Witness after witness took the stand. Multiple people testified they never saw that teenager holding a gun during the chase. Prosecutors played the surveillance footage for the jury. They watched Cyrus pick up those water bottles, put them back, shake out his empty pockets, and walk out. Then prosecutors placed a single bottle of water on the table in front of the jury. And they said Chow believed that a human life was not worth more than that. The defense told a completely different story. They said Rick Chow fired that shot to protect his son. They said Cyrus had pointed a gun at Andy Chow during the chase. Prosecutors acknowledged Cyrus did have a gun on him that evening, but they said it fell to the ground during the chase, that he never pointed it at anyone, that the only people who testified he pointed a weapon were members of the Chow family, nobody else, not one independent witness. The prosecutor looked at the jury and said it plainly. Nobody testified that happened. That doesn't have the last name Chow. The jury deliberated for 8 hours. 8 hours. To decide the life and death of Cyrus Carmack-Belton. Then they came back. Not guilty. The courtroom collapsed. Sobs tore through the gallery where Cyrus's family was seated. Cries that people in that courthouse will never forget. His father standing there, watching the man who shot his son in the back walk free. Rick Chow sat frozen at the defense table. Then slowly, he bowed his head into his interlocked hands. Outside the courthouse, his family's attorney, Todd Rutherford, a man who has practiced law for nearly 30 years, stood next to Cyrus's father, barely holding it together. He said, "This makes us feel as if our children don't matter." And they do. This makes us feel like Cyrus's life didn't matter. And it did. Then he said, "I have been practicing law for almost 30 years. I have never seen anything like this. I don't understand it." The family is now pursuing a civil lawsuit against Rick Chow. Rick Chow's attorney told reporters they were very pleased with the verdict, but then added, "A 14-year-old kid should not be roaming the streets with a semi-automatic pistol. The boy he is talking about shook out his empty pockets in front of store cameras. The boy he is talking about put back every single water bottle. The boy he is talking about was running away when the bullet hit him. The boy he is talking about was 14 years old. His name was Cyrus Carmack-Belton. And somewhere in Columbia, South Carolina tonight, empty water bottles still spell out his name. A jury said, not guilty. History will say something different. You decide what that is."